Oh, I did not sign for that to be done, but it's okay. I will consent. So a lot of this will be interactive. So I always like to start with you guys like interacting. So just go ahead and just take the first little, like introduce yourself to the person next to you, or if you're sitting by yourself, scoot over. But I just kind of say like, you know, just small talk where you're from, but I go ahead and ask the person, what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten before? Yeah, the weirdest thing you've ever eaten. Yeah. Oh, okay, there you go.
Escargot. On a cruise. And if you cover the snail with enough butter and garlic,
it's okay. I'm an adventurous.
I did it.
It tasted like.
What is it? Squid. I actually like some dried squid.
What did you have? It was
Sweet.
It was slimy.
I don't eat weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's the right part of you. Yeah, your skin tone.
And I hurt my neck.
Oh, I like
Okay, we'll bring it back to okay. Now I'm just curious. What are some of the things you guys have eaten that's weird? Squid? That's not that bad. Escargot.
Well, not me.
Yeah. Oh, escargot. Okay.
I don't eat escargot. Dried little baby fish.
Yeah.
Salted with the
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That had nothing to do with real estate, by the way. It's just like I just like kind of breaking the ice because like a lot of this I want it to be interactive, where you guys are asking questions, and so just kind of like, so how long have you guys been doing real estate for? 19 years.
25.
25. 7 months.
On and off 7 years.
On and off 7 years.
19.
19 years. Audrey, I think you're like about the same as me, right?
Yeah, it was
Right. Okay, yeah. So I'm about the same. Now I'm at like 7 or 8. I can't remember. I just throw it in
It's
there.
number 2018.
Yeah. Okay, so like, do you guys remember when you were obviously for you a little bit newer, but do you guys remember when you were a brand new agent?
Yeah.
Like, brand new.
25 years.
Yeah.
We got our license during 9/11.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. So I remember like my biggest fear when I got my license was someone asking me, how long you've been doing real estate for? You know? The reality is I've only had like all these years of real estate. I think I've only had somebody ask me that twice. But I was always super nervous when people were like, well, like, you know, like how long have you been doing real estate for? And I remember once I hit the 2-year mark, I started just telling people, oh, I've been doing it for years, just years, you know, multiple years, you know, just to make it sound like it was a lot.
I almost ran out of my first class, like, I was like, oh my gosh. I was teaching preschool, and then I thought, I can't, and I thought, just stay. Because it was 9/11, it was super.
That would be a totally different market in 9/11, like around that time. It's crazy. I mean, like I said, I've only been in the market for 8 years, and it's been wild of what's happened in 8 years. And so,
Real estate roller coaster ride.
what I always tell people is I actually do mentoring for new agents, and the reason why I do mentoring was because the first time they got into real estate, I felt like such a poser. I felt like, why would somebody work with me? Because like my background, my degrees in health, I did personal training for years, and real estate has nothing to do with personal trainings. And then like my whole identity was around being a trainer, and then now I was shifting into real estate. And everyone knows everybody that's changed their career into real estate, and I just like, it was so hard for me. And so, do you guys know how many current active agents there are?
In Utah?
In you, so I'm sorry, yeah, let me clarify. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
So this is the first thing that I always do with all of my mentees whenever I'm training them is, okay, so just on the Utah MLS, the Wasatch Front. So,
Around 17,000.
right?
Over 17,000.
Yep, over, yeah. Yep, good job. You guys are good. Okay, dang it. Okay, so yeah, there's 17,552 agents as of this morning. Thank you, 25. It's actually gone down in the last couple of months, and I predict my crystal ball that number is going to go even further down with what's coming down the pipeline. And so I remember when I first got my license, there were 9,800 agents. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this was what I always asked myself. Like, obviously not you, but because I don't talk to myself in the third person. But I'd be like, gosh, like, why would someone want to work with me? Like, what is it about me? I'm a brand new agent. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how to get leads. I have no idea how to find leads. I've never sold a single deal, a single piece of property in my life. At the time, I wasn't a homeowner, so I even felt more so like I was posing. And just this, I just kept beating myself up about like, why would someone want to work with me? I don't know if you guys ever felt that before.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, why do you think that, or why do you feel that? Just out of curiosity. Like, what do you think when you see this number right here? Like, how does that make you feel?
Like there's so many people, why would they choose me?
Yeah. Okay.
Or everybody knows 5 agents.
Yeah. Okay.
At least 20.
Okay.
Or like we were talking earlier, our schedules are already slammed, just doing everything else.
Sure.
So adding real estate can be overwhelming.
Totally. Do you guys all do real estate full-time, part-time?
It depends on the season.
Okay, trying to. Okay. Have you done a deal? Okay, not yet.
I've had one where I was going to list the home.
Okay.
I was helping him through the process of getting ready. It was a divorce.
Okay.
And right at the end, he decided he was going to keep the home and just do a refi to pay her.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do have some that, like I have one that he's going to be ready to close for credit in June.
Uh-huh.
So he,
Yeah.
hopefully he keeps, I keep contacting him, text every now and again to
Okay.
just kind of remember me.
Cool. Yeah.
So hopefully.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, it took me around 6 months I had a buyer right out of the gate, but it took me a while to close my first deal. So like I've been there. Like that's a hard place to be. But like.
And then they ask me, how many homes have you sold? I'm like, my team has sold a lot.
Yeah. That's the perfect tagline. Yeah. So.
I would just say our company is hugely successful, because you are a part of.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, and they've got you assigned with a mentor, right?
Yeah.
So and then that way I just throw it on. Like I always tell people when I'm mentoring, I just say, hey, just say you're on a team, and you can even like say that we've done these past deals and stuff like that. So that's cool. So this will be really good for you then. Okay. So for everyone that's done a deal, have you ever worked with an agent that was terrible?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Half of them.
Yes. Okay, half of them. Okay. So not tooting your own horn, but tooting your own horn. Oh, good. Pardon me?
Your phone number?
Yeah, 801-687-2046. Yeah. So you said you worked with some bad agents. Do you think you were better than that agent? Not like like in a.
No, not like better than them, but
As a realtor, are you better?
I'm a really good communicator, and
Okay.
so it really drives me crazy when other agents don't get back to you. You have to text them 5 times for the same question.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just communicate. That's your job, actually, is to
Totally.
communicate. So
Totally.
just do it. And then a lot of times I'll end up doing both sides of the transaction because they're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'll
Sure.
just do their job because
Yeah.
I'm like, you're just not doing anything, so I'm just gonna do it.
Which is what
We're
we
a lot
want.
lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, lazy or busy or distracted,
Totally.
just not working.
Or
Yeah.
above it.
Yeah.
Or they don't cross their T's and dot their I's. It's like, did you get your
Yeah.
clients to sign this document? Did you, like that?
Well, one simple thing is like listing agents are supposed to get you that whole list of seller's disclosures on the
Right.
website, right?
Uh-huh.
Right.
Not just the one document of seller's disclosures, it's a whole list,
Yeah.
like A through G or something, right?
Yeah.
And all of them only give you the seller's disclosures, and I'm always like, okay, look, you have this whole list, I'll screenshot it and be like, could you please give me every item on this list? And none of them will do it.
Yeah.
They don't wanna do it, they're lazy.
Yeah.
So then I do it.
I got to the closing table once and the other agent didn't get the clients to sign the rep sheet yet.
Wow.
And I'm like, Hyper, how would you get to closing?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I just forgot, it just didn't.
Yeah. So the point is like not all realtors are created equal, right?
Right.
I remember when I got my license, I mean, this is like I'm in this room and there are all these people and there's a guy next to me and totally just judging him by his appearances. I was like, I wouldn't even let you in my front door. Like you just like but he's like, I'm getting my license. And I'm like, so the reality is anyone can do real estate. I'm sorry. Like, there's someone for everyone. Yeah. So they say about when you're like looking for a spouse, it's like even the weird people, they find other weird people. There's someone out there for everyone. So I always used to sit here and think like, gosh, like why would someone want to work with me? And then I did a deal with an agent that was terrible. And everything shifted from instead of like, why would someone want to work with me to like, oh my gosh, like why wouldn't someone want to work with me? Like I'm amazing. Like even though I'm totally new, like this other realtor on the other side, been in the business for years, maybe more than 2, but years. And like, they were terrible. They were terrible to work with. And I knew just in the small time that I'd been an agent, I'm like, this is not how I want to do real estate. And in the years that I've done real estate, I've interacted with hundreds of realtors. And the more that I interact with it, the more that I realize so many people don't make an experience out of this. Like real estate is one of the most, next to funerals and marriages, it's like one of the most life-changing like experiences in their lives. And so many people look at real estate like a transaction. And if you look at it like a transaction, you're doing it totally wrong. Like real estate is an experience. And if you're not providing an experience for your clients, they're going to go somewhere else. Like, so go ahead.
I try and save them from the other agents.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Like,
can you imagine not being able to contact your agent? Some don't show up to the closing table, some don't review the docs. It's just
no, it's a wild, like, I've worked with some agents where I just been like, holy cow, like how did you get this listing?
Right.
Like this.
And how do you keep doing it?
Yeah, like how do you keep doing it? Yeah, exactly. It's because like it's a lot of money, and someone's putting a lot of trust in you, and the fact that you don't know this, that, or the other. And so that's what I've loved so much about like being here at Presidio is like I came from another brokerage, and what is offered here and like the level of just being on top of things, of your paperwork. Like I have a love-hate relationship with everyone checking all my stuff on Sky. So you mix the box, and I'm like, and I was like, if I mix the box, then this other brokerage is mixing a box too, but they never say anything. But like that's what I love about one of the things I love about just being here is like you guys have all the support to be successful. And the reality is you can be successful anywhere. Like you could. It always comes down to you. But like here, there's just so much potential that you can get out of it. And so what I want to do is just talk a little bit just on the back end, like why the heck did you get into real estate? Yeah, this is an open question. Why did you get into real estate? Flexibility?
My story. My husband and I were young newlyweds, and we were trying to buy a home, and we had an agent that we just met from her listing, and she was terrible. She treated us so bad, like we were scum of the earth, because our price range, okay, this was 20 years ago, right? Wow. And so our price range was $120,000, because that was normal 20 years ago for a first-time home buyer. And she just like ignored us. She would never respond to anything. Wow. Like we felt like we were nothing to her. So my specialty is working with first-time home buyers, and I make them feel like they're $1 million home buyers.
Love it.
Because I love them. Like they're so excited. This is like new and exciting, and they trust me. Yeah. Where sometimes I find that the $1 million home buyers, they think they know it all. Yes. And that really bugs me. I'm like, wait a minute, are you doing this day in and day out, or do you want my help? Like, why are you hiring me if you don't want my help? Totally. You know, where first-time home buyers are so trusting and loving. And that's what I wanted to give to them, was like all my attention and love and time, because we didn't get that from our agent.
Yeah.
And I had someone buying a $2 million cottage, is what he called it, because he wanted to come here to ski. And then somebody buying a $200,000 home, and they thought it was a castle.
Yeah.
And to just treat them the way they wanted to be treated.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other reasons why you guys get into real estate?
I mean, I've worked in a lot of different fields. Like I've done closet organizers, like where I was in the homes.
Yeah.
And then just my own personal experience of looking for homes, and then like going through all the existing homes, deciding and then seeing here and there things I liked about, things I didn't, and then deciding to build instead. And then the whole process, like the whole time we were doing the building process, going through the design center every day, I kept thinking, why don't we have this? Why don't they should do this? And my husband's like, you should think about doing this when you decide to go back to work. Do this, and just and even to this day, little things that I find out just from classes and stuff, and going home being like, why didn't we do this when we were back? Why didn't our agent tell us to do this?
Right.
You know, and my husband's like, remember that. Use your experience, use your own experiences. Tell people, hey, I would, even though it's a brand new home, and you do have a year or possibly 2 years, depending on the builder, still have an inspection done. Have your own person do the inspection. Still get a home warranty. Because like, I mean, just if this is a small part of it, our plumbing runs uphill.
So you can get that.
So we have a problem. So we're gonna have to redo the whole thing. We've lived in the home 9 years now, and like every few months, my husband takes the drain snake and just like unscrews our shower drain and just does the whole thing. Just because it's gonna cost us like $16,000 to redo it. And that was like 3 years ago bid. So it's probably.
Did you have a home inspection?
No. And I should have. That's the thing. I should have had a home
Was
inspection.
it initial?
Yeah.
They still make mistakes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, it's brand new. You know?
Oh, no.
And so, I mean, there were other things that we did have them come back and check, but that's something we didn't realize till after.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like one main pipe that my husband can go down there and go like slosh this. It's just different things. You know?
Yeah, no.
You want to be able to help people to
Totally.
not have to go through that.
Yeah. Homeownership is a big deal. You know, it's like, you know, there's a lot of things that are factored into that people don't realize. You know, not just furnishing a house, but you know, all these, you know, taking care of it, maintenance, things break, filters switching out. You know, and there's a lot of things that people don't know, and that's where people look to you or look to us as a professional, like trusting the process. And so.
And it's also, I feel like it's important to help them understand that people get jaded to their own homes. Like my home that I sold before we built the one how we live now. Yeah. I was like, who's gonna want this house?
Yeah.
And I mean, we bought it for like $145,000 back in 2004, and it, you know, it wasn't the nicest house, but it wasn't the smallest house. But we took care of it. It was a good house still. And my agent was like, you know, what you need to realize is the people in the market for this price range, this house can be awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a home for everybody. It doesn't matter how big or how small.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I was seeing my $6,000, my 6,000 square foot home compared to my 1,800 square foot home.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
It can still be someone's dream.
yeah. So the person who bought it, he was a single dad, a single custodial dad with a kid, and it was perfect for him. He still lives there.
That's awesome.
You know,
That's cool.
and then I go back and I look at it, I'm like, oh, memories.
Yeah. For sure.
I sold a house, a 100-year-old house in Lehigh, and the prior owners mummified their pets and put them in the wall.
Oh, wow.
And it was her dream home, and I kept saying, this is my worst nightmare, but this isn't about me.
Yeah.
And they camped for a year. They had a porta potty and a barbecue, and she did pet groomery, so they fixed that up in the back, and then she made money to fix up the house.
Wow.
And I visited her like, you know, every few months.
Sure.
She's like, thank you so much for selling me this house. This is my dream home, and I'm thinking this is my worst nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
She loved it.
No, totally. Yeah. No, it's like the fact that you guys get invited into people's lives, into one of the largest financial decisions they'll ever make. Like, if you don't take that personally, like, shame on you. And I know shame's a bad thing, but shame on you. Because really, like, the trust that people have in you, and if you don't recognize that responsibility, you're in the wrong business. Like, it's so amazing how someone like doesn't know me next to Adam, and then one day they call me and they're like, Dallin, I'm about to make the biggest financial decision of my life and I need help. And I'm like, hey, like, I'm here to help you. I always say people, they work with people that they know, they like, and they trust. And so your whole job is to build that relationship with people. Just kind of going along with this, because I know hopefully we'll have enough time. So just kind of real quick, what have just been some of the hardest parts in real estate so far? I just kind of want to also just make note of this, because then that way we can address, because I feel like you guys come to these meetings because you actually want to learn tactical, practical, and that's how my man brain works, is like, I like the emotional side of it. I have a lot of sisters, and so, and I'm really close to my mom, and like,
How many sisters?
3. That's not like a lot.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot, I know. But like, we're really close. And then, but also, yeah, just because I'd love to teach you guys those tactical things. Also, disclaimer, this is like doctrine of Dallin. So this is the way I do real estate. People can come up here and be like, hey, I cold call every day. I hunt expires. I go after FSBOs. For me, my business is 100% referral. Pays $0 towards putting myself on Facebook, putting myself on Instagram. Everything I do is solely through past clients who are just like, you got to work with Dallin, and they just kind of branch out. Okay, so that's my disclaimer. That's how I do things. That doesn't say it's the only way. It's just a way. Lots of people are successful doing lots of different things, but you got to just find what works for you. So what's been some of the hardest parts?
Just changing market.
Changing market?
So,
Okay.
all the time.
I think getting consistent clients.
Okay.
Do you need something?
No, I'll just write it on my phone because I just want to make sure like I address it. Okay. Usually I have a whiteboard. I'm addicted to whiteboards.
That's the
They have-
whiteboard.
We have,
No, it's fine. I've got it on my phone.
you can write on these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those things.
Those are
whiteboards.
Those are the whiteboards?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Are
the
there-
markers
is there
in that
something
basket,
there?
I think, right there.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
I think that market, yeah.
All right, so what did you say?
Other agents,
changing market.
Changing market? Okay.
I don't want to say bad agents, what's another name? What's the
Inept.
second?
It's not bad.
No, I know that says it right there, inept agents.
You know, just put bad agents, the shorter word. What do you mean by like, okay, bad agents?
Like they don't communicate, like
They don't
Christy was saying.
communicate. Okay, what is,
People love me because I answer my phone within 24 hours. Like I'm getting back to you as soon as I can.
It should just be
okay, what else?
standard.
What else has been hard?
The consistency of getting referrals and clients.
Okay, consistent, okay, so lead generation,
Mhm.
that's all. You guys are in the business of lead generation.
Yeah.
Oh, D-E-R-A-T.
A real estate roller coaster.
Okay, so that's the okay, it's a roller
Changing.
coaster, okay.
I give my commissions away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, being too
Okay.
nice.
So tell me when you say you give your commissions away, what do you mean by that?
I go down so low.
Like you discount
I
what you offer?
discount them so low.
Like what are we talking so low?
Like a
And
flat,
I'm sorry.
like a flat, like I'll just tell you, I had a closing yesterday, it was
Mm-hmm.
a flat fee, I listed them on for 5,000.
Yeah, okay.
You're too nice.
I just took a buyer at a 1% commission, I have my splits here, and they were referral that asked for a 35%. And then I pay their secondary transaction fee, so I go on the whole.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I work for free, and then I'm, exhausted and a little bit resentful.
Yeah.
You're not having a healthy give and receive.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Okay.
Like when you're looking on the MLS, you can see what the VAC is gonna be.
Yeah.
Like in every class I've been in, they always say, don't sell for less, don't bring
Yeah.
your commissions down. And like I hear Jenna said it multiple times. You guys don't go for less, don't.
Yeah.
I never have, because like she said, then you resent
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the
then
client and
I've
the
seen
transaction.
comments, I'm like, oh, I should show this one, and I'm looking down and it's an agent from the
Yeah.
brokerage, but they're like at 1.5 at the VAC, or
Mm,
1% at the VAC.
yeah,
I'm like,
Mhm.
and my husband's like, are they only getting that much, or are they getting 6%, and out of that
Yeah.
6%, are they paying 1.5?
You don't know.
Yeah.
Unless they accidentally see the closing disclosure, which happened before to me once.
Yeah.
I had a 2% commission, they were getting 4%.
I saw that recently.
And I
And
was,
it
and I
was
was
in
like, hey, what the fun?
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, it's like, no, there's a referral plus this plus that. And I was like, all right. Okay, cool. Okay, this is great. This is great. I'm just gonna write off of this because the reality is we're going right into a changing market and it's gonna tie right into these lower fees. But like, I'm excited about the change because honestly, it's gonna, like everything I'm gonna talk about is tied in directly about if you're not providing an experience for your clients, you're not gonna last. Like, I'm sorry, that's my crystal ball. It's like, because anyone can sell a house. all of you are licensed to legally sell and can sell a house, but it's like, what makes you special? Like, and I mean that not only like what makes you unique in your process. And that's really one, because the reality is real estate's hard. You know, there's ups, there's downs, there's good agents, there's bad agents. It's a roller coaster. We're dealing with like lower fees. Oh, go ahead.
Can I ask you what's your name, dear? Nikki, why don't you think you're worth it?
We could go talk about that for hours. Yeah, it's part of my nature that I'm an overgiver, a people pleaser, and I let people run all over me, and I just keep giving. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
You know, it's true. I remember when I first got into real estate, like, so I came from like a background of like training and stuff like that, and the most I'd made in 1 month was like $4,000. And I'm at these these sales meetings, and people are like, oh, so and so had another $1 million month, and in my head I'm like, $1 million month? Wow, that person just made $30,000 in a month. Like, that blows my mind, you know. And in my head, I was always telling myself, like, gosh, like I would totally sell someone's house for, you know, $5,000, because like that's more money that I would have made in like that 1 month. And so it's sorry. I'm not crying, I'm just like, I got it. And so it's like it's hard, right? Because you want to add value, you want to help people. No, you didn't make me cry. No, but it's a hard space. And so it's like, and it took me a while to find that value, because real estate, it's a unique thing. Like, because, you know, it's this, and you guys all know this, you know, and luckily, I don't say luckily, but a lot of people don't realize this, but you're not an agent. The same process, if not worse, selling a $300,000 condo as it is selling a $3 million property. It is the same paperwork. It is, and you know, sometimes the clients, like my first time home buyers, I love them. They're the sweetest, nicest people. Like, but I am like adopted into their family and like their relationship, and sometimes a little too much. Versus sometimes, you know, I just got a listing the other day, and I just was like, hey, look, this is what it is. This is what I charge. And she's like, great, and just signed it. That's it. Like, it was that simple. And so everyone's kind of different, and so it's learning to find like your value, and that's where like I want people to realize, like, what are the skills, like what is it you provide. The number one thing, that's later down the road, but
I will say this,
running out of time.
usually the clients that want you to discount are going to be the
They're
biggest
the
pain in the
hardest.
butt.
Yeah.
So
It's been like for 19 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I actually turned down my sister-in-law's listing because she wanted me to list it for nothing.
Yeah.
She was like, I expect you to do this for free. And I said, no, yeah.
My
And I
brother.
said, no, thanks. That I would have been able to help them buy a house, but it would have been such a nightmare. It was like, you know what, I said, you know what, I don't think we're the right fit. Because it just isn't, it's not worth your heartache and your stress level to do that. Don't sell yourself so short and then be stressed out. You know?
I have a friend who's like you, and her husband made her get out of the business because he said people just use you. And then you get that reputation. And then all the family members wanted her to use her in real estate because they knew she'd
And
get.
they'll tell everybody,
I
she'll
know,
reduce
my
it.
Yeah.
agent did it
That's
for
what-
this.
So she was very popular
That's
at
exactly
family
always how that.
reunions, but she was a mess, so.
You can blame it on the broker. If someone says,
Yeah.
well, you discount, you can say, oh, my broker doesn't allow that.
Yeah.
So what,
I do that all the
so
time.
my neighbor up the street, her neighbor, my other neighbor, just had a realtor list their home for 1%.
Sure.
They got the buy.
Mhm.
And so my neighbor, who
Oh, I saw your
wants me
comment.
to help her sell her townhome and then buy a
Mhm.
home, told me that, and I'm just prepping because we're meeting on Friday. I said, I think I have some documents we need to go over. And she's like, okay. So I've been in my head trying to think, like, how do you say, you know what, I don't do 1%. I charge 3%.
Just say that.
Say, I don't give a 1% effort.
Yeah.
That's not me. I give full.
Yeah. So,
3%.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like you said, we're coming into a shifting market. So like learning to have like a clear direction forward of how you do real estate. If you don't have that, like if you're not comfortable asking about commissions, because commissions are now more transparent. Everything in the news right now that's going on, or people are like, I don't have to pay commissions anymore, and that's what people are seeing. And so, okay, total disclaimer, like I don't want to be caught with my pants down with like this whole thing coming up. I just put up a listing in Spanish Fork, and I told my clients, I was like, my clients were aware of what's coming down the pipeline, and they're like, hey, like we don't want to, like, what's going on with this? And I was like, no, you're still going to pay a commission. Like this is how this works, because you need a represented buyer to come in and purchase the house. But anyway, I listed the house, and on the commission for the buyer agent commission, I just put percentage. There was no number, no nothing. And in the agent remarks, I said, like, sellers are willing to offer a buyer agent commission. Like, please present it in your offer. The offer we accepted has a 3% buyer agent commission, and they went with it, and they're good. So the reality is like, that's what's going to happen. Like, you have to know the value you provide, because we're going to come into a market now where people, like, now commissions are going to be part of the negotiation.
Do you worry that in multiple offer situations, the agent that's willing to?
Oh, no, yeah, 100%,
commission is
100%.
gonna get,
Yeah.
they're gonna get they're gonna get the offers accepted, but.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna come down.
Totally.
I don't like that we're a part of the
I don't,
negotiation.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair,
No.
because what other job is a part of the negotiation? Everyone else has, we have to go buy a clothes at the store. We don't negotiate the cashier into our clothes.
And Nikki, like Chrissy said, you can use the broker and brokerage. You could say, we don't discount. Like,
Totally. Yeah. But
it doesn't have to be all you, but you can just say, we don't discount.
Sure.
Just like,
Yeah, I need to get better at it. Just to give you a little more insight too, part of it is that, I came from, I don't think you guys know this, but I was married to a billionaire.
Oh.
And when I left, I had signed everything over into my trust, right? So there's been a lot of years where people saw me married to a billionaire and assumed I was wealthy, even though in that marriage I was financially independent. And so I think people use that against me psychologically to say, you're wealthy, you can do this for this, right? And then once I left, what they don't know is that I just took all this debt with me. I didn't have a car. I had to leave my car in the marriage, my daughter's car in the marriage. I had no money. My real estate company stayed in his trust. And it became a matter of me surviving. And it was like $2 or better than no dollars.
Yeah.
And so here, and even in my marriage now, I'm completely financially independent. I'm not supported by a husband. So my mindset is always in survival mode, if that makes sense. I have to make something rather than nothing. I don't have the option to just turn things away. And I think I need probably some mentoring, some coaching there to get past that survival mode, right?
I have relatives who married money and they tell me everything, but it's like, you think that's the dream.
It's not,
It's a
you're a
nightmare.
prisoner.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yes, it's a nightmare.
Anyway.
Okay, no,
Sorry,
I
it's like,
love
oh,
this. No, I love this. And honestly,
I do
like,
too.
we could have a lot of like conversation around this, and
I think there's probably other agents who feel that. They
Oh,
feel like
100%.
they're in survival mode, and
Yeah.
it comes down to, you almost feel like you're in a hostage negotiation sometimes with this client. And it also, it becomes this thing where I'm like, my husband, he sees what I do. He sees the money I spend. I drive hours and hours to do real estate.
Yeah.
I have no time to myself, and he'll be late. People go, why are you doing that? I'm like, because if I don't, I feel like there's a gun at my head. And I would love to get to a spot in real estate where it doesn't feel like I have a gun to my head.
Thank you so much for sharing. You just
Yeah.
explained a lot of my relatives.
Yeah.
I get it now. That's how you feel every day.
Every single
Gun to
day,
your head.
every night, every minute.
So you'll do anything you can.
To survive.
Wow.
I think it's imprinted into, when I first started real estate, I was working with a couple, I showed them over 30 homes in Utah County and Salt Lake County. And then they told me that they decided to just keep the home they went out. I just spent 5 months of my life with
Oh.
them.
Yeah.
And just getting to the point where you're like, you know what? It seems like you're just working. You're not serious. So just being able to, and having the confidence to say, that I don't need this transaction to move forward, that like, it's like, it's hard, it's so hard.
It is, and there's always, we're in a business where there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people, and a lot of people hear misinformation about how the process works or how commissions work. And so, they hear one person be like, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a listing like, well, like, I'm going to just do a flat rate with this company. And I'm just like, okay, like, sure. But that's where, like, it comes back to the experience. Like, what is it that you provide different than everybody else? And even if it's something small. So, and that's where, like, we're going to kind of get into the psychology behind it, where, like, you guys have all gone out to lunch with a lender, right?
Yeah.
Don't you feel bad when you have a deal and you don't give it to them?
Yeah.
And you're like, man, like, yeah. So that's an actual, like, psychological tactic, of just like, there's a book called The Go-Giver, which is basically all about like, hey, like, as you are gracious and as you are serving, people will feel like, hey, like, I need to help this person now, like, I need to be there. You guys know what the current amount is for referral gifts? What's the max amount of money?
$250.
So we got 250, 500.
It's worded, the verbiage is weird.
Yeah.
Like, there's no limit on something.
Yes, there's no limit on what you can give as commissions, like in the end, on the back end. But if someone's like, hey, I've got a friend, and you're like, cool, they send you a deal.
referral.
Yeah, referral. Yeah, 250.
Yeah.
Yep. So, okay, so $250. Okay.
But that's after the fact.
No.
No, I meant like, you can't incentivize.
Oh,
something to
yes,
use
you're right.
that.
You cannot incent. Yeah.
Deemed as bribery.
Do you guys give referral gifts?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you give? I'm curious. Okay, you
get
go.
a gift card to somewhere.
Gift card? How much?
Usually between like $50 to $100, depending on where.
Okay.
Or how many people are in their family.
Okay.
I don't know.
$100 gift card? Okay, wow, good job. Okay, I love that. Yeah, because I know some people that write like a thank you card or a text or something like that. Like, this is how you create like diehard clients. Like, back to this question. It's like, would you rather have a database of like 1,000 people you don't know that you're randomly sending out text messages to and emails, or would you rather have like 50 people that are just like, oh my gosh, you have to work with this person. You would be an idiot. And it's a lot easier to manage 50 people than it is to manage 1,000 people. Okay, so when I first started, I took this huge database of aunts, uncles, cousins, people that I hadn't talked to in 18 years, whatever, and I'm just like, I'm a realtor, buy a house, and it was terrible. I hated it, right? And so rather than do that, I focus on adding value. If there's one thing that you guys like always need to think about is, how can I add value? How can I add value? If you're not thinking that, you're doing it wrong. One of my pet peeves, and maybe you do this, and it's okay though, because I don't follow all of you on social media. If you get on real estate and you put a reminder like, hey, just a reminder, I do real estate, I know that's great, but to me it's like, yeah, so do 17,000 other people, what value you're providing. So like for me, like on social media, when I post about real estate, there's a value component to it where it's like, oh, hey, did you know? So like Kim that was just up here, this is a perfect thing. You guys could all get on Google Maps, take a screenshot of Spanish Fork, and just be like, hey, does anyone know what's coming up here? And people are like, I don't know. And people are nosy, people are curious, and you're like, hey, like, and then you're like, bam, this is the new Spanish Fork Fitness Center. And then did you know that Keystone's building new projects over here? All of a sudden you're the professional, okay? So whenever you're posting, always be thinking about, or anything you do, it's how can I add value? In real estate, part of the reason why it's super hard is because there's so much you have to do. You have to be a marketer, you have to be a designer, you have to be a therapist, you have to be a financial consultant, you have to be a CPA, not legally, but obviously, all these different things. So for me, I am obsessed with essentialism, which is the disciplined pursuit of less but better, all right? So there's so much you should be doing, right? I always tell people, do not should on yourself, okay? There's lots of things you should be doing. So think about what's the most essential things to getting more business, all right? So, and to me, that comes down to relationships with my clients. At the end of the day, it's not going to be posting on social media. It's going to be being in front of my clients. How can I get in front of my clients? Okay. We're talking about creating an experience not a transaction. Okay, so okay, I'm going to just show this because this is real quick. So when I first got into real estate, this is actually the guy that started SkySlope, just so you know. So he was a real estate agent before he started. We're just going to watch this. It's only 1 minute and 40 seconds long. But this is kind of what sparked my whole journey into creating an experience for my clients.
We can't hear anything online.
Oh. How do I do that? Do you know how I do that?
Never what, there's
Never split
Is Joe?
Yeah.
I
Huh?
need some like
Hey,
I'm actually in therapy, just so you guys know.
trying to see if I can just take.
Is that Jen? Jen, are you watching me?
No.
Oh, okay. You sound like Jen.
Oh, what a compliment.
You're welcome.
Well, just go ahead and do it. And
Yeah, because I think this will be linked under the
Yes.
slides, and you can watch it.
Okay.
But I'll kind of break it down
I
too.
think that Renee just wanted to ask.
Oh, okay.
Alright, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. How do you just make it so it plays for the people watching online?
Should,
She just said it wasn't playing for them.
let me jump on here for a second. I wonder if this screen shares.
Can you tell us what are the essential items that you do to help your relationships with your clients?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're getting into.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I love that.
And you can go over a little bit because we took a little bit of your time too. So if you
Okay.
haven't, that's fine.
Okay, well, I can sit here and talk about this all day long, but I have a walkthrough.
Is it this one?
Yes.
So many people have asked, what's the TIES 35? 35 items? I used to work at a restaurant, Cattleman's Steakhouse. If you're in California, whew, they got some great steaks. They had 12 steps of service. So anything from greeting the table within 2 to 3 minutes, from showing them the dessert tray. I had 12 items of service I had to do for every customer that came in. I said, you know what? I want to take this item, these 12 items, and I want to do them and put them in my real estate practice, but I want to put it on steroids. I'm all about blowing up. Blowing them up big. So I took 12 items and I said, I'm going to do 35. Now, wait there. I didn't start with 35. I started with 1. I started with 1 and I crushed it. Then I went and added 2 and then 3 and then all the way up till I got to 35. I did 35 items for every buyer and every seller. Pizza boxes on moving day, delivering keys, to wrapping the doors of your clients, no matter what. I always did it. When I got really big, right, my buyer's agent and my listing coordinator had to do 90% of the TIES 35. That's right, 90. Woo! It's a lot of work. You got to put a lot of days, a lot of effort, and you have to put systems in place so you can repeat it for every single buyer and every single seller, no matter what. I built my business off of referral. My team together over 600 deals a year, me personally over 300 deals. That's right, 300 deals off of 35 items. All referrals, over 30 to 35 referrals every single month, month after month after month for over 3 years to where I sold my business. Realtors want to buy a referral-based business. A lot of insurance agents sell their book of business. Well, I did that with my real estate business because I followed these 35 items and executed and did not miss one day. And if you do it right, you will win. I promise you will win. Stop half-assing your business. 35 items.
Okay. So I watched this. Yeah. So what is TIES 35? So your homework is to go and you can watch it. But I'll give you kind of an idea of
What's
one of
the
these.
class name?
So if you just Google just TIES 35.
Okay.
So kind of give you guys an example. So he teamed up with a local pizza company. And he's like, hey, look, anytime that I sell a house, I want you to deliver pizzas, but not just any pizza. He's like, he had the pizza, but he had a huge picture of his face that the pizza company would have to slap on top of the pizza box. So it was him, and it was like, happy move-in day from your realtor, okay? So what's happening is his clients are moving in. They have all the people from their church, from their neighborhood. They're all moving them in, and then all of a sudden this pizza person shows up, and there's free pizza, and the realtor's face is on it, and everyone's like, whoa, like my realtor didn't do that. Like, that's awesome. Like, your realtor did that? Or he'll do, like, whenever you get a property under contract, he'd show up at their work with a huge thing of balloons and a bottle of wine. And it's like, so that everyone's being like, whoa, what's going on over at Larry's desk? And it's like, well, Larry just got a house under contract. That's from his realtor. And everyone's like, wow, like my realtor didn't do that. And so it's like, what is it you do, right? Like I've lost deals over, I think, dumb things. Like I had a client, literally one of my first clients ever. I helped her daughter buy a house, and then she was talking about moving, and I sat down with her, we did a listing. She's like, maybe it'd be like 6-7 months. And then anyway, come to find out, she ended up selling her house, not using me. She reached out and she's like, Dallin, that was the dumbest decision I ever made. It's like, that was the worst realtor I'd ever worked with. And I asked her, I was like, straight up, and I was like, why didn't you work with me? And she's like, the agent paid for a moving company. And he got the buy side and the sell side. But that's all he did. He paid a couple grand. So like I would pay $2,000 all day long to make 20 grand on the back end, right?
So he bribed them not to bother.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But also what he did was he found a need of like moving is stressful. I will make your life easier. So if you do that as an agent, like your job, I tell people, is to make people's jobs or people's lives less stressful. I always tell all my clients, I love I love birthday surprises. I hate real estate surprises. Like nobody wants real estate surprises. Birthday, yes. Real estate, no. So your job is to mitigate all of that and to make it smooth for people.
So many people have asked, what's the TIES 35? 30?
One more time.
I have a question. Right now I have a client that's under contract with new construction.
Okay.
And I keep having like this underlying fear that I'm not doing enough because like it's just sitting, right? Like we're just waiting. We can't do inspections. We can't do anything. They're approved. And I'm like, they're gonna think I didn't earn my commission. It's like a limiting belief, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because this usually actually I would say it's very rarely come up for me. But with this particular client, I want to impress them so bad that I have this underlying fear that I'm not doing enough and they're gonna think I didn't earn my commission.
Cool.
So
I call it minute mile markers, any little mile marker, bouquet of balloons, roses, pizza, any little minute mile marker. You're waiting for the big ones because you're professional.
Yeah.
I would just find any teeny tiny minute mile markers.
So anyone who's doing new construction, they're always super anxious about where is it at in the build process.
Yeah.
A good builder agent is going to send you constant updates and pictures, and everyone in the loop.
Right.
In real estate, you guys heard like R&D, research and development. Like it's not research and development, it's just rip off and duplicate. Find out what someone else is doing and do it better. So there's an agent here in the office, or they used to be here in the office, and one of the things that they did with new construction is they would actually pay for a Matterport to go out there during a 4-way walkthrough. Before they did the walkthrough, they would take a 3D picture of the whole house, and then they give that to their client. Hey, I paid for this for you. And then all of a sudden what happens is down the road when that client wants to update the house, they can pull up the Matterport and they can know exactly, oh, hey, this is where a load-bearing beam is. This is where our water lines come in. Like, so when they do a remodel, they know exactly where everything's at. It costs you $300.
Can they still do that though? Because it's already like almost finished.
So no, not if it's almost finished. Yeah, but that's where I say you have to like do it in stages. But I think one of the things you do.
We just barely got under contract Friday, and it's going to be done in 3 weeks. So it's not like it's like a normal contract kind of, except that with my normal contract, I have like a step-by-step, like every other day that I'm contacting with them for inspections, radon tests, different things that I do. Yeah. And this is just different because they won't allow us to do inspections or radon tests till the last week.
Could they Matterport another house that's very similar?
Yeah. So I just want to text. I'm not avoiding you guys. I'm just texting because I have a walkthrough here in a second. But I'm just no. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, just find one that's not as far along, Chrissy, and Matterport that one.
That's a good idea. Who does Matterports? Anybody know?
Mike Anderson used to. He's with. Do you know who does Matterport down?
My photographer does Matterport.
Who is he?
Matt. I'll put his information up for you guys. Okay, so sorry, like I said, let's talk about this like all day long. How do you add value? Okay, there's 4 main things that I feel like as a realtor, and breaking it down, keeping it simple. You guys always have a buyer consultation when you're out showing homes, when you're having a closing, and like as a follow-up. Okay, so buyer consultation. So how do you add value? Anyone can do a buyer consultation. What is it that makes you unique? Why would somebody want to work with you doing a buyer consultation? Sometimes people just meet your buyer at the house. I take all my buyers out to lunch because I tell people I love good food and I love talking about real estate. Let's put them together, and it's a write-off, you know? But that's one of the ways that I do it. One of the other things too, I give all my buyers a Stanley Cup, okay? Inside the Stanley Cup, I have bougie Lululemon hand sanitizer because I hate crappy stuff. I'm just kind of like, that's how I am, less but better. And then I also have like, yeah, high quality. And then I also have a little measuring tape for them. And I put that in there and I'm like, hey, you guys are buyers, have fun. And like, even if they don't buy, I'm like, whatever. It's like, here's, you know, $50 down the drain.
Husband and wife and you
Yeah, so I'll do like a Yeti for the guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a little more manly. Yeah. And it's funny, I bought a bunch of these when they were like high commodities.
Yetis are not, man.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh.
You can buy a more masculine. Yeah. They're not as like.
They
Yeah.
even have the taller.
Yeah.
For that size,
So, but that's one. It's something small, but like, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just spent $50. Like, am I gonna get that back? And it's like, who cares? Who cares? Like, if you gotta give to receive, and the more you give, like trust me, like it'll come back. And so it's all about providing that experience. Showing homes. What is it you guys do special about showing homes? Like, I've got a friend, the back of her car, she has a basket full of goodies, full of drinks. She keeps a cooler in her car. When she shows home, can you imagine if you're looking at homes and you find out what your client's favorite drink is and you're like, oh, you like Liquid Deaths? Like, oh, hey, there's Liquid Deaths. And they're like, wow, like those, I love those. Like, that's amazing. You find out what, you like listen and pay attention to what they do. And so that's the thing, is like, how can you make showing homes more of an experience? Anyone can show a home, right? Like, what is it you do? Closings, okay? I used to give away the biggest meters baskets I could get just because it was all for show. Like, people show up with this little meters basket. My baskets were like this big. Like, I would show up with this basket, and I loved walking into a showing or into a closing, and I was like the alpha realtor because this other realtor had like this little basket, and I'd show up and be like, yeah, like what now, you know? And it cost me $150, right? And then you can get a discount as a realtor. Like, it was great, right?
And they give you a $20.
Yeah,
or
and
$10
$10 gift card. Okay, have you guys ever gotten a gift bag from leaders?
Yes.
I hate them. I'm sorry.
My husband
I
does
hate
too.
them
Because you don't like
maybe because I'm
pasta.
single, but like I don't want 2 loaves of bread and like baking mixes and a spoon that doesn't match my house. I'm like very OCD.
Oh,
And so
my husband
one
can't.
I
He
can't.
doesn't like the cellophane.
I hate
He's like,
it.
it's
I
all
hate
for
it. I
show.
hate
It's
it.
just-
I hate it. Okay, so here's the thing. I had one Christmas, no joke, I got 6 baskets from meters from like past lenders, title companies, and I just was like, this is the dumbest thing. Like, why am I giving these away?
You forget them.
Yeah, I regifted them. I did regift them. Because I don't want them. Like, I honestly just gave them to my clients. And here's the thing, maybe you do baskets, and that's okay. I'm just, like I said, this is doctrine of Dallin. This is how I do things. I want a gift that's going to keep giving, right? I want a gift that's going to be like, hey, I have a reason or excuse to be here, or you're going to remember me. So I give away Dyson vacuums because who wouldn't want, who's going to like use a vacuum to clean their house? And every time they vacuum, like, oh, my realtor gave me this, you know? Or like, if it's a guy, I'll give him a Traeger grill.
Do
And
you
then
put your face on their back?
no, you make the gift about them. Like, you don't make it about you. It's all about like putting it back on your clients. And then what happens when I give away Traegers, I love it, is because now I show up every 6 months with a bag of pellets. And I'm like, hey, I'm your realtor. Don't forget about me. Let's smoke some meat. Let's have a great time. So when you guys think about what gifts you give, think about a gift that can be something that it gives you a reason or to go back or something like
I've
that.
heard of like cutting words where you actually put your name.
Yeah.
And every time they use it, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I also give,
That would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
cutting, well, it's on the back. So I don't really like
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's because the company will actually come out and like clean it
Yeah.
and like make it fresh and new. And then same with knives, they'll come and sharpen it.
Yeah.
So when I give it to them, I say, this has my name, so you remember to call me so we can come out and sharpen it. Like, it's kind of the same
Totally.
concept,
Yeah.
but it's to help them remember, like, there's something you
Totally.
can keep doing with
Okay.
kids, you know?
I've seen an agent do confetti at the closing
Oh yeah, I do confetti. I've got confetti cannons at all mine. Yeah. All my clothes. That's part of my experience though. And I have clients. I just sold a property last week, and it was a sister that bought the house, and she knew that her sister, when she bought it, she shot off a confetti cannon,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Do I get to shoot a cannon?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, you get to shoot a cannon!" Like she was super excited about it. And then it kind of ties up with it. So like I said, the 4 things were, so you have a buyer consultation. Like, what is it that you do in a buyer consultation that makes you unique? What is it you do when you show homes? What's the experience you provide there? What's your experience of closing? And then follow up, okay? I'm sorry, like I said, this is all doctrine of Dallin, so take it with a grain of salt. I hate it when people have like pop buys that are just like a bag of jelly beans and cellophane, and they're like, "Oh, I'd be jealous if you sold a house without me," and I'd be like, "Ugh, like I don't want your re-gifted jelly beans probably handled and put in a bag. Like I don't want that. Like give me something of value, right?" So like I said, so I'm gonna give you guys, I'm gonna give you guys one of mine, and it's super simple, and it'll make you an awesome realtor, okay? And guess what I did? I just stole it from somebody else. Every time I do an inspection, you walk through, I always do an inspection with my clients. I'm there. Take a picture of the furnace filter, okay? Keep track of the furnace filter. And then guess what? Everyone needs a furnace filter. Oh my gosh. Costco always puts it on sale. Guess what? It gives you the perfect reason to show up at your client's house. Every time I sell a house, when I give a key to my client, I'm like, "Hey, just well, I know where you live, you know, and I'm gonna stop by." Like they know I'm gonna stop by. And then what happens is I stop by, but I'm just not stopping by. I'm like, "Hey, do you love your house?" I'm like, "Hey, your filters need to be replaced, and here's the right size for your house." "How did you know the size of my filter?" "Don't worry about it. I got you."
And you
I'm
have
psychic.
pellets for the trick.
Yeah, and then I got pellets for the trick.
So what would you do with the Dyson? Do they have filters?
Well, it's funny because I start noticing the Dysons. I've kind of leaned away from Dysons a little more
Because they didn't
because
have
I had a couple like women. Actually, it's funny.
that were like, we don't want
Well, sometimes if they're closer friends, I've given out more Dyson hair blow dryers than I have Dyson vacuums. So I'll be like, "What do you want?" They're like, "I want a Dyson blow dryer," and I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Whatever." But they're still gonna think about me.
Can you go back, what was your idea for setting yourself apart at buyer?
So I take them out to food, and then I do like a little gift. Usually there's like a tag on it with like me, like my information or whatever, or I have a little like just a 1-page. Nobody really wants lots of pages and stuff. Always keep things essential, less but better, okay? Because we talk about real estate all day long. We can talk about real estate, but as soon as you say earnest money, people are like, "What's earnest money? Like, what does that even mean?" I'm like, don't worry about it. So that's where it's like, come up with what's your experience. Like, what are you providing for your
And then
clients?
for showings, you did like their favorite drink or snack or something.
Yeah.
What else could you do with showings? Like they're not really
Exactly.
into pop or, you know.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's where the thing is, it's not, every client's gonna be different. You know, you might get to some people like, I don't drink out of a plastic water bottle because like one of my friends told me, like it's really bad for you. And so like, and I avoid seed oils. I'm one of those weird people, right? But it's just the fact that someone's offering it. You know, like if you have got clients with kids, like I always bring snacks, you know, coloring, bring something, go to the dollar store, get some cheap stuff. Temu, if you don't shop on Temu, you can get all sorts of cool swag for super cheap off Temu. So the kind of wrapping it up, because I'm running late. So no, the big thing is TEMU. It's like Amazon. It's like China Amazon, but cheaper. It's Shein. Yeah, Shein. I didn't know what that was, but okay. So I want you guys to always just think about like, why wouldn't someone want to work with you? Like, what's the experience that you provide? How can you create more of an experience for your clients? Because the market that we're going into, if you're not standing out amongst all the other realtors, against all the other competition, like it's going to be really, really, really hard. But if you do something that's so unique and so specific to you that only you can provide, and that's the cool part about each of us individually, that we all have different gifts that we only like you can provide. Once you find what that are, like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, like why wouldn't someone want to work with me? Like when somebody works with somebody else, I'm like, you're an idiot. Like I'm amazing. Your other realtor was an idiot. But I've done some deals with other agents, and I'm like, dang, you were good. Like, and guess what I do? I take them out to lunch and I rip off and I duplicate. I'm like, hey, like, so I really like the way you did this. Tell me more about it. And they're like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's what thing. Well, no, but that's the thing. It's I've got so many, but it's like it can get overwhelming, and that's why like the TIES 35. Start small and start with that, and then go from there. So even if it's just filters, even if it's just your gift or whatever it may be. So okay, I'm sorry, I have to run.
Oh,
But so
so helpful.
yeah, if you have any questions, like I mean, I'll put my number up on the board.